Hi there, it's your girl, Dr. J with Let It Flow. I wanted to talk to you today about progress over perfection. For me, I am one of those people where I like to make sure that everything is together. I like to try to control certain situations to make sure every T is crossed, I is dotted, that everything is in order before I fully walk out and do something. But being that type of person, it sometimes feels like a blessing and a curse. So, for instance, when you are a person like me where you're very analytical, you don't make rash decisions, you are someone where you like to make sure that you have everything in order in the sense of you've looked at all of your resources, you've made sure that you've acquired the knowledge that you need, you've done everything to again cross those T's and dot those I's. That's great. You're a very logical person. You understand different things. Your mind works a certain way. And so you're wired to be able to understand, okay, I need to consider these things before I fully embark on this and before I walk into this particular situation or whatever it may be. But the other side of it, where it feels like the curse, is that sometimes that can be a hindrance. Sometimes we're so focused on the perfection aspect of it that we forget that the progress that we're making towards getting to that end goal is important and is necessary. You don't have to have everything all together. You don't have to have every T crossed all the time. You don't have to know everything there is to know about everything that you're doing or whatever you've been called to do in order for you to do, in order for you to get started, in order for you to move forward. And one of the things that has really taught me a lot about that aspect of sometimes you have to make sure that yes, you want to make sure that you have everything in order, but then also you want to make sure that you're not that person where you become so consumed about perfection and making sure that you know every single thing about what it is that you've been called to do before you move. There's What's taught me a lot about that is one, going through my doctoral program, and two, becoming a new entrepreneur. I would say for those two things, both were uncharted waters. For my terminal degree, yes, I had gone through grad school before, and I knew what it was like to be a grad student at the master's level, but I had absolutely no clue about what it took to be a doctoral student. I had no clue about the level of discipline and the commitment and all of the resources and different things, the wisdom that I would need in order for me to navigate that journey. But in reality, God still allowed me to make progress towards getting to that end goal of finishing my degree. He allowed me to work through the process. And he was right there with me to help get me through it, even though I didn't know a lot of things, even though a lot of it was figuring it out as I went along, figuring out as I was progressing through my coursework and through my dissertation process. It was a lot of trying to figure it out, but letting go of needing to have that perfection, needing to have that control of making sure that I do everything accurately, that I have all the right people lined up to support me, that I'm doing, trying to control every part of the situation, every part of the process, having to let go of that aspect of it and being able to focus on the fact that if God has brought me to this, if He's allowed me, He's called me to be in this space to pursue a doctoral degree, that he's already prepared the way for me. He's already equipped me with everything that I need in order for me to be successful because this is something that he's called me to do. And there's also more reasons that's bigger than me of why he's calling me to do this. So I need to lean into him. I need to rest in knowing that I may not know how everything is going to work out. I may have had to cry sometimes. I may have faced adversity. I may have had some challenges as I progressed through my program, but that does not say that I'm not going to get to my end goal of being a doctor, of walking across that stage and being able to say I did it. The same thing with being an entrepreneur. This is my very first time embarking on this type of journey. Yes, I've worked with family businesses, I've done other things. I've been in corporate for 19 plus years, but now I'm moving into a space that is not the same structure as it was before working in corporate. It's not the same consistency in the sense of I know every 2 weeks I was going to get X amount of dollars. I knew that there was promotion. I knew that all these different things would happen because I was in this particular space and this is how it was structured, to being in a space of, okay, now as an entrepreneur and as a new entrepreneur, there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to figure out. And even in that, I've had my moments where I'm trying to be in control of everything. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to take the pen from God and be the author so that way I can say, okay, this is how this situation is going to take place. This is how these things are going to work out. This is who needs to be planted in my life. Like I'm the person trying to make sure that me as a very analytical person, that me as a very organized person, that me as a person who, again, wants to make sure every T is crossed and every I is dotted before I fully move forward with something, that I'm doing these things that need to happen before I fully let go and let God take me where he needs me to go. And so it's teaching me a lot. Those two areas taught me a lot because again, I focused so heavily on the perfection aspect of it that I forgot about that even in the progress that you're making, even in the progress that I'm making, that I have to celebrate every win. That I have to give myself grace for taking the next step, for completing the previous step. I have to allow myself to know that I may not have all of the things that I need to have and that I'm creating in my own strength, but God is going to provide everything that I need. He's going to plant people in my life, the right people in my life to be good to me, to support me, to help me. He's also going to plant the people in my life that he needs my business to bless, that he needs to actually receive a blessing through me and the work that he's doing in my life and the work that he's doing through my business, that he's going to give me the wisdom if I ask him. He's going to give me the wisdom that I need in order to be a successful business owner. He's going to help direct me to guide my footsteps. He's going to pour out the blessings upon my life and upon my business that I need if I only were to trust him. If I were to keep my focus and my gaze on him and not getting so consumed with knowing every aspect of how everything is going to work out and focusing on the perfection of being a successful business owner, focusing on the perfection of having everything together, of knowing everything, of having everything in order, and focusing on the progress that I'm making and what he's calling me to do and how he is moving in my life and in my business is important. And one of the other things I would say for me is sometimes, I want to know what's going to be next. I want to know how it all is going to unfold. I want to know how we're going to get to the end goal. And I think about it like a movie. If God were to sit down and say, okay, I know how you wire. I know you got questions. I know you have these things going on. I know you have all of these thoughts that's swirling around your head. Even my earthly father and my mother knows that about me. Anybody who knows me knows that I have questions, that sometimes I'm trying to figure it all out. I'm trying to be in control. I'm trying to do all of these things to make sure everything is a success. And so if God was that person where he said, you know what, I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to give you this movie clip really quickly, or I'm going to actually show you the full movie. And we sit down with our little popcorn and I'm like, okay, God, show it, make it good. And we're looking through this whole movie and I can see, oh, God, that's good. Oh, you going to do that? Oh, that's what it's going to look like. Oh, that's how the blessing's going to feel. Oh, look at me. I look so happy, God. Oh, wow. Being able to see all of that and then saying, okay, now, God, I can rest in you. Now I can rest in the fact that I can physically see with my own eyes how you're going to bring me to this end goal, how everything is going to work out, then I'm good. I can rest. I can understand, like, I don't have to worry about certain things. The thing about God, God doesn't do it that way. He may show us the movie trailer. He may show us a couple of clips. He may give us a vision, but he's not going to sit down with us and show us everything that we need to know because there's a lot of things that God does not need to reveal to us. If he told us everything that we were going to have to go through in order for that goal to be accomplished in our lives, then sometimes we would run. out of fear, out of the fact that I don't want to deal with that level of pain. I don't want to have to endure that thing or those things. I don't want to have to cry. I don't want to have to go through loss. I don't want to have to take those detours in order for me to get to the end goal of the thing that you promised me, or of that vision coming to fruition. I don't want to have to deal with certain things in order for me to get to that. So I'm good. Now that you showed me this, I'm good. Or, you know what, God, since you said this is going to happen, let me hold a pen. Let me white out these bad scenes that I don't like. Let me white out these things that I'm going to have to go through, the faith that I'm going to have in order for me to get through that season, or to get through that particular situation, to get to the end goal. Let me white this out really quickly, and let me write in some more wonderful things, some more easy things, some more things that is going to be very just like happy, and no loss, no adversity, no obstacles to overcome, no insecurities, like none of that. I don't want any of that in the movie, guy. I just want to see the good stuff. I just want to edit all of this out. But and then we can get to that goal. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And God intentionally does not show us everything that we need to possess. He doesn't show us everything that we're going to have to go through. He doesn't show us every single detail, because he knows how his children are wired. He knows that sometimes if he shows us everything that we're going to have to tackle, everything that we're going to have to overcome, every part of the work that we're going to have to put in, and the effort that we're going to have to put in, then we may run from the thing that he's calling us to do, the thing that's going to have kingdom impact, the thing that's going to be a blessing to so many others, the thing that's going to call us higher, the thing that's going to make changes and transformation in so many lives. We would run from those things if we knew everything that we would be called to do. And so for us, we have to learn, and I'm talking to myself as well, as a person that likes to be a perfectionist, as a person that likes to know every detail, as a person that likes to try to be in control of how situations are going to happen and how everything is going to unfold, and trying to orchestrate everything in my own strength, and forgetting about the part that you have to have progress. You have to go through the process. You have to make sure that there are certain things that God is going to allow you to go through in order for you to be able to grow, in order for you to be able to handle the next season of your life, in order for you to get to that dream and to be able to walk in that thing and to see all of those blessings. There are some things that you're going to have to deal with on the other side, that you're going to have to go through. There's some progress that's going to have to be made in order for you to get to where he's called you to be, in order for you to get to that end goal. And sometimes we don't want to have to deal with all of those things. Sometimes we want it so easy, and I'm guilty of that myself. Sometimes it's like, God, I just want it to be easy. God, I just want everything to just boop right here in front of me. God, I just want to have all the infinite wisdom in the world to know everything I need to know about how this situation is going to work out. I need to know everything that you're doing. I need to know what all I need to do. Like, I need to know in order for me to feel like I can rest, in order for me to feel like, okay, boom, there's that perfection, in order for me to feel like everything is working and going in the right direction in my life. I have to have all of these things in order. I have to make sure that I know all of these different things before, again, I can fully rest in knowing that that end goal, this is how it's going to work out. And so the unfortunate part for us is that sometimes we get so consumed with wanting to know, wanting to be in control, wanting to have that perfection, wanting to bypass all of the things that's going to help us to get to that next level, wanting to bypass the hurt, wanting to bypass the detours and all of those things that we have to endure in order for us to get to that next season, or to get to that thing that God said he's going to bless us with, that we don't focus sometimes on making sure that we understand who God is. And sometimes we get distracted. We get so consumed with God asked us to do these 3 things, and then we're over here doing these 10 things. And now we're getting frustrated. We're getting overwhelmed. We have so much going on in our lives, and we're trying to figure it all out. We're trying to make progress to get to perfection. And God is like, I didn't even ask you to do all of that. I really didn't. I didn't ask you to do all of that. I asked you to do these three things. You decided that you were going to do 10, but what you also decided that you were going to do was you were going to focus on how it was going to be done and doing it in your own strength and focusing on the things that you desired to do and how you desired for it to happen in your life. You were going to focus on how the business was going to be successful. You want to focus on how you were going to get to that goal and you that you wanted to accomplish. You were so focused on how you were going to do it that you forgot about me. You forgot about the fact that you need to pray. You forgot about the fact that you need to listen, that you need to stay in my word. You need to meditate on my word day and night, that you need to be focused, that you need to surround yourself with godly and like minded people, that you need to be in the house to fellowship with others to be able to sow into you and to build you up when you have those weak moments. You forgot about all of those particular things that you need to do because your mind was focusing on the perfection. Your mind was focusing on how to control the outcome. Your mind was focusing on how you can actually make all of these different things happen in your own strength. And that's really not what I asked you to do. Again, even with being a new entrepreneur, for me, my mind sometimes drifts into that space of I got to know every single thing because I've never done this before. This is very new to me. So I got to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted. I got to go find the people, the plant in my life. I got to go find all the people that God wants me to pour into. I got to go and make sure that I learn everything there is to learn about the business structure, the tax strategy, how to be successful in business. I got to learn everything that everybody's saying about how to be a successful and good life coach. I got to understand how I need to move when it comes to understanding how to work with every single client. Like I got to do all of these things before I even just start, before I take one step forward. I got to figure all of this stuff out. I got to figure out how the income is going to come. I got to figure out all of these things. And then we become so bogged down with trying to figure it all out, with trying to create that perfection that we're not really making the progress towards the thing that God has called us to do. We're not allowing Him to equip us with everything that we need. We're not allowing Him to plant the right people in our lives to be good to us, to support us, to teach us different things. We're not allowing Him to impart His infinite wisdom in our lives in order for us to understand even what the current step is and what we're supposed to be doing, but also, God, what's next? We're so busy trying to think 10, 15 steps down the road of what needs to be done, who needs to be a part of this, and what we need to do in our own strength that we really and truly forget the fact that God did not call us to know everything. He didn't call us to be perfect. He didn't call us to walk in perfection in the sense of, we got to have every T crossed, every I dotted, everything in alignment before God is going to use us. Before God, we got to be so completely whole and right without sin, without brokenness, without anything, no blemishes before God is able to use us. No, God is able to use us now. He's able to take us from one step to the next if we allow Him to do it, if we trust Him with whatever He's asked us to do, that He's going to equip us, that He's already qualified us to do that thing. We're not focusing on that aspect because we're so consumed with how we're going to do it, with how we're going to work it out. We're so consumed with the fact that, God, I don't see nothing happening. I've been praying about this thing. I've been moving in this thing. I did get started a little bit, kind of, sort of, but I didn't see no movement. So it was time for me to retreat. I didn't see what you were doing. So it was time for me to retreat. We're so focused sometimes on those things. We're so focused on what we don't have, who we don't have, what we don't see, and what we don't know, that we forget that God is able to help us to get to the next level, that He is able to help us to put one foot in front of the other in order for us to walk into our purpose and to walk into the thing that He's called us to do. He's able to do that. But we get so caught up in ourselves. We get so caught up in what we feel that we're capable of doing and what we feel that we know and the skills that we feel like we already possess, that we forget who God is. And sometimes we also forget the things that God has already brought us through. We forget the things that He's already blessed us with. We forget sometimes that our mind is not the same as God's. We don't know the thoughts that He has. We don't know. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. God knows so much. Our minds cannot conceive the magnitude of the blessings that God has for us. It cannot conceive every single intricate detail that God has already thought about to help with us getting to the next level, to us walking in our purpose, to us being blessed and receiving the blessings that God has in store for our lives. There is so much that God already knows. He's already planned everything. He's the author and the finisher of our faith. He is the one, he has the pen. So we have to learn to stop trying to steal the pen, to stop trying to make the edits, to stop trying to figure it all out, and to stop trying to be in control of every single thing and every situation in our lives and of everything that God is calling us to do, and start focusing on the fact that God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. I being honest in that regard with ourselves and with God, that we don't know everything, but God, I know that you do. I know that you are faithful. I know that you are amazing. I know that you are a good father and that you are looking out, and anything that you have called us to do, you have already qualified us. You have already equipped us. You've already thought about every major and minor detail. You've already thought about every detour that we're going to have to take, every person that we're going to need to help us. You've already thought about every single thing that's going to happen in the beginning and the middle in order for us to get to the end. And so that's what we have to rest in knowing, is that God knows everything. And there's not a call for us to be perfection. There's not a call for us to have everything together, to know everything, and to be the person trying to orchestrate everything or to cross every T and dot every I. There's not a call for that for us. It's really not. What the call is for us to do what God is asking for us to do right now, to take that next step, to take that leap of faith. If he's asked you to start the business, okay, God, help me to understand how you want me to do this. What is my next step? And listening so that we can hear what God is saying to us and moving. Sometimes we get stuck because it's like, okay, God, I know you asked me to do this thing. It's like double dutch. When is my time to jump in? And he's like, go, jump, do it. And you're like, but wait, the rope might hit me. Wait, I might jump in at the wrong time and mess the whole game up, and everybody gonna get mad at me. I might fail. I might not get this right. I might do this. I might do that. It might not work out. I'm not equipped. Like, we get into so much of the self-doubt, so much of the insecurities, that we forget that God is able, that he can do exceedingly and abundantly in our lives, that he is still in control. We forget that part, that he's going to allow us to jump in at the right time, and he's going to keep us steady. He's going to keep us going, because he knows every time we need to do this, every time we need to do this, every time we need to stay steady. He knows all of those things. So he's going to allow us to jump into this thing, to do what he's called us to do, and to walk in faith, to walk in faith. Faith is us not even seeing everything. It's us not even knowing how everything is going to work out. It's us having faith in God that it is going to work out. That no matter what happens, no matter what I deal with, no matter how many detours I have to take, no matter how many times there's an obstacle that comes my way, no matter how many times that I face adversity, I'm still going to be able to stay, because God is right there with me, helping me to stay the course. He's helping me to stay where I need to be. He's helping me to move to the next space that I need to move in. He's right there with me. And so I don't want you to forget that God did not call any of us to be perfect. He did not call us to know every single thing that there is when he calls us to do something, when he calls us to walk in a certain direction, when he calls you to start the business, when he calls you to go back to school, when he calls you to do whatever it is that he's calling you to do. He's not saying that I need you to be perfection. He's not saying that I need you to have every T crossed and every I dotted. He's not saying that I need you to understand every single detail. I need you to know everything that's happened. He's not saying that. He's really and truly not. What he's saying for us to do is follow my voice, follow the plans that I have for your life. Listen to me, lean into me, lean not on your own understanding, trust in me, have faith in me. Know that whatever it is that you stand in need of, I got you. Whatever wisdom you lack, ask me. Whatever you need, whatever, even if you don't know what you need, come to me. Sometimes you can't even pray, because you don't even know what to ask God for, and that's okay. Holy Spirit, make intercession for me, because right now I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what direction to go in. All I know is to be still, and I need to pray, and I need to trust, and I need you to step in. That's what we have to rest in and trust that God hears, sees, knows all. And whatever he's called us to do, again, he has equipped us, he has qualified us, and he's preparing the way for us. He already knows what the end goal is and everything that you're going to need to do in order for you to get to that point. He already knows the vision that he's given us, but he also knows how to bring that to fruition. He knows that you're going to have to take a left when you thought you were going to take a right, because I need you to go this direction, because I need to stretch you a bit. I need to grow you up a little bit. I need you to focus and do these things first before I can get you to this point, because there's a lot of people that I'm going to bless through you. There's a lot of people that your business is going to bless. There's a lot of people that your testimony is going to bless. There's a lot of people that you thought that crooked path that you took, now I'm going to make it straight. And this is how I'm going to show you how to make that kingdom impact. There's a lot of people that because of you, they're going to know that they can. Because you did, they're going to know that they can do it as well. Because you shared your voice, your time, your testimony, everything that I've asked you to share and to do, they're going to know that they can do it too. But we have to get out our own head. We have to release that control that we have. We have to release that desire to have perfection and to be a perfect person and to know every intricate detail, everything in order for us to move forward. We have to release those things and trust that God got us, that he understands everything about us, what we need, how we're wired. He understands that where we're going to slip and how to get us back on track. He understands all of those things. So to my people that's just like me, that feel like you need to know everything, that feels like, God, in order for me to be successful in this business, I got to go to 10 workshops. I got to talk to 30 people. I got to learn everybody's coaching strategy. I got to learn how everybody else is doing their thing in their business and how this is going to work for this person, how they got to be successful. There's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with seeking to acquire knowledge. But when we get so consumed with what everybody else is doing, how everybody else is telling us to do things, what everybody else is telling us the steps that we need to take, the process that they had to follow, and how this is going to work for us so we can be successful. When you start focusing on all of those things and everybody else, and you're taking God out of the equation, that's where we have the problem. That's where we don't see the things that God is really going to bless us with. We have those grandiose ideas and we're doing all of these things thinking that this is what we've been asked to do because people told us that this is what you need to do and this is how this is going to work and this is what you have to do to be successful, when we're so busy focusing on those things and that perfection of making sure that we have everything done before we jump, we're missing out on a lot. We're missing out on a lot, and we're not really leaning into all that God has called us to be, all that he's equipped us with, and everything that he's able to do in and through us, and the testimony that's on the other side of us even reaching and accomplishing our goal, whatever it is. We're missing out on that aspect, and we're missing out on opportunities to work through and embrace our journey, to understand more about God and understand more about ourselves, to really build up with everything that we need to build and God needs to build in us to prepare us for even greater than that one goal. Okay. So I want you to focus on the fact that God is faithful. He's just. He has all the wisdom and he will show you your next step. He will help you. He will bring the right people and plant them in your life. He will provide the resources, the finances, every single thing that we need if we ask him, if we trust him, and we walk in faith, even though we can't see how everything is going to work out or see everything that God is doing or how everything is moving, still having that faith to know that he's up to something great. And knowing that he's not calling us to be perfect. He's not calling us to have it all together. He's not calling us to have all the wisdom that he has in order for us to jump in and do the thing that he called us to do. He's just calling you to get started. He's calling you to focus on him. He's calling you to follow the plan that he has for your life. He's calling you to walk in the direction that he has for you, and to not lose heart, to not lose faith in who he is and all that he's able to do in us and through us, and to just continue to move forward. No matter what you don't know, no matter what you don't have, no matter who you don't have in your life, continue to move forward. And if you haven't even gotten started, stop trying to focus on getting it all together and get started. Do what you have to do and let God use you. Let him bless you. Let him work through you, and let him do what he needs to do in your life, and stop trying to make it perfect on your own. I'll leave you with a couple of scriptures, of course, because, want to make sure that my peeps got what they need. Hebrews 11:1, Proverbs 3:5-6, Psalms 119, 105. So that's Psalms 119 and verse 105, and Matthew 11, verse 28. Y'all be blessed. Peace and love. Hit the like and subscribe, and also share it out with people that you know who need to hear the messages that God is sending. And I hope you have a wonderful and amazing rest of your day.